Hello, everyone. Welcome to Art Survey. This is our orientation art course at the high school. My contact information and Mrs. Bross's contact information is here. I'm Mr. Scott Cantrell, and Mrs. Jennifer Bross also teaches the Art Survey course this semester. You can contact us at l-spioneers.org with our name _ in front of it. You can also give the school a call at 717-464-3311, and we'll get back to you. If you can't talk to us immediately. So if you'd rather talk on the phone, you can give us a ring always. You can always email us or also message us on Schoology. So PowerGrade and Schoology is where you can access the information for us. Those are synced for this class, and so they should be accurate and the same throughout the semester. Overall grade in this class, about 30% of it is tests and quizzes. This is art history, vocab, reading, that kind of stuff. Most of this done online on Schoology on our online days throughout the semester. Our studio base is about 50% of this class. We will work on a lot of studio stuff in our class, but also we're going to try to do a lot of studio, especially drawing studios, at home during our online asynchronous days. At the end there, homework is 20% of the grade in this class, but of course, every class at the high school is an 80-20 split, meaning that it will always be averaged to be 20% of your grade in any course is your homework grade. So it doesn't matter how much or how little, depending on the class, it will always be the same 20%. For it. So studio assignments being the big bulk of the points for this course, I'm going to go over some of the things that we'll cover in this course. Being art survey. Survey is named after the idea of a survey college-based class. We looked at the foundation years of most colleges, and we said, what do? They do drawing, they do painting, they do 2D, they do 3D classes, they do art history, they usually do some kind of critique-based class. And so we try to do a little bit of all that and give our own students a foundation as well that matches to most art schools. So we start with drawing techniques, those backbone to all art making. We see an intersecting line technique utilized here to break down drawing, build it back up, and build our realism, which is where most people are kind of aiming for at this point in their art making. We'll next get into some color pencil drawing. With this, we'll use professional techniques and laying them down and in place, overlapping, using toned papers, all this good stuff. We'll do some design-based work. We'll do some collage work. Here's some student work. Here is a continuous line drawing. This is example one of our drawing techniques. This is a style of drawing that shoots for students to slow down and truly look at what they're drawing and not use symbolic gestures. So it doesn't necessarily look realistic itself, but it will lead towards more realistic drawing if the activity is followed correctly. We'll talk about visual balance and do some design-based work. This is a collage piece that was made a few years ago, and another collage piece in a very different fashion. Studio assignments will also be mixed media. We will paint acrylic and watercolor painting. We'll do a lot of that here. In fact, this week we're starting to do acrylic painting. We'll try to keep a lot of that messy stuff here at school and more of the drawing and collage work at home. At least for now. We'll see what else happens with the semester. We will do some other kind of relief-based work and printmaking. Mono prints and color graphs are usually how we handle the printmaking at the art survey level. Studio grading, as far as things go, is really objective based. So we're trying not to be subjective in the way that we grade. We're not going to say, hey, this is good and that's bad without any kind of explanation. We have really straightforward objectives for each lesson. And as long as the students can meet those, they'll do well in art survey. For example, this is a shading reproduction piece. They're asked to have a variation of values. And so they have lights, a couple middle tones, a couple darks, and variation. They're asked to lay it down in a circular pattern that creates a seamless application. And then they'll be asked to do some gradation as well from dark to light. And so as long as each of these things are done, each things will be graded kind of individually on their success in it, and that all adds up to their grade for each assignment. Now, besides that, of course, effort is going to be a big thing. You put a lot of effort in, even though you're not successful in every moment. This will add to your grade. Design and composition, craftsmanship, and creativity are all other things we take into consideration along with meeting those objectives of each lesson. Each student will keep a digital portfolio, which is on Google Sites. This is keeping a portfolio in a fashion that looks like an artist's website. So almost every professional artist has to have their own website at this point. And so students will learn to photograph their artwork and put it on this site and design their own website. At the same time, this is a place where they can hand in some of the things that they're doing at home. So we've been doing this for a few years now. Every art class has it and adds to their site as they go through their high school career. And so they by the time they're finished, if they've taken clay and sculpture and jewelry and metals and art survey, fine art, advanced art, they would have all of that artwork within their Google site. And so it will all add up and accumulate throughout their high school career. They will keep a sketchbook as well during this class. This has two big reasons. One is to practice your drawing, that backbone to art making. This is another continuous line drawing that you see here. And besides that, it is also a place where we come up with concepts. It's a place where we brainstorm. We'll talk about how to brainstorm, what that actually means, and what are some of the rules of it to make sure it's successful. So encouraging systems and ways for critical thinking is something that we really attempt to outline within this class as well. They will have reading assignments at time. They have an actual book that went home with them that they can read through if they get tired of the online, on-screen reading, but it is also all scanned in case they are not at home or they prefer to read it online or access it while they're taking their vocab quizzes. So this has basic vocabulary in it. It's broken down by the elements of art: line, color, shape, form, value, texture, and each chapter then really breaks that down. So as we're drawing, we're going to talk about the element of line. As we're painting, we're going to start by talking about the element of color, and they'll have lessons to read along with it and Schoology quizzes then to fill out so that we can continue to use a more sophisticated vocabulary to help our understanding along the way. Make it a little easier to talk about what we're doing. Within the book as well, there are critiques. We'll do 4 throughout the marking period. Each one is meant to highlight one of the 4 formal steps of critique: describe, analyze, interpret, and judge. And so we'll talk about how to look at a work of art when you go to art museums, what you can do, what you can think about to break down and consider why you like and dislike, or why is it successful or important in being in the art museum. We will cover and underlie throughout the semester art history, the basics of all art during art survey. So we'll start with Paleolithic time periods, then into Meso and Neolithic, the Stone Ages of the prehistoric time period, the oldest of all artwork, and work our way through time. We'll then talk about the Sumerians, Egyptians, into the Greeks and Romans, and then into the Dark Ages, the medieval time period. Then the birth of realism in art, the Renaissance, into the Baroque time period with Mannerism in between. We'll look at realism and impressionism and the age of the isms, and end with modern art, talking about Van Gogh and Picasso last. The big names of art that everybody references and talks about, they'll get a little bit of background along the way. So there are 7 different units of art history throughout the semester. First marking period usually has 3, and the second marking period 4 units covered. We do have an art history test at the end of each of these, usually 20 questions with a review beforehand, and you can see that written there at the top. There's Mona Lisa there on the right-hand side. So due dates. Oftentimes, one of the frequent asked questions that I get are, is your due date policy? For us, homework is more like a commercial artist. You have a deadline and a due date. Every day late will be a letter grade off. So any of that stuff done at home, any of those homeworks, they are due on that day specifically. They should have plenty of time to get those accomplished. As far as the studio assignments go, they can tend to take some students a short amount of time, other students a longer amount of time. So those can be resubmitted as many times as they would like. So they'll hand it in. Let's say they get a C. I'll tell them and write on their work why that points were taken away, what objectives they were missing, and then they can try to accomplish those objectives, hand it back in, and we will regrade it as many times as you'd like. So this is the bulk of the points within Art Survey are your studio assignments, and these can be resubmitted so that you have time to really work out your artwork and really learn from your mistakes. Missed quizzes can always be made up online as this semester in Schoology. They could also do the check your understanding questions at the end of each lesson and hand that in person. If we're here or we have a flex, I may have the students do that in place of the Schoology quiz. Missed tests will be arranged with teachers. We can do that during flex or sometimes during the class period. The other thing that I would like to talk about is our Schoology page and how that is set up. But I'll have to transfer this to another video so that I can change tabs. So we'll come back to that in 1 second so I can talk about kind of the format of how kids access information and how our schedule for the week is set up. So I'll be right back here on Schoology. Hi, everyone. Here we are on the Schoology page. This is where students access their information during the week on our online days and where you can find their upcoming assignments along the way. So along the top here, they go to their courses. Here we are in Art Survey. As they click on that, we've got a Julie Moretu piece over here that they can spot. I'll leave that up for the semester so they can visually indicate where their class is. So at the top of each of the classes, we have a link to our Google Meets. Every Wednesday, we meet on Google Meets. So each week, it's broken up into 3 parts. You'll have each student has 2 days in class. 2 days in class, 1 day synchronously. That's every Wednesday. We meet all together on Google Meets, and then they'll have 2 days online. Online means that they're working asynchronously. They're working from home, and we're not working alongside them because the students here are working on something different. So they will have different assignments, sometimes reading, sometimes videos, sometimes artwork to work on, and they have something to post then that will count not only for an assignment, but also for their attendance each day. Underneath that is the week schedule. So at any point they're not sure what they're supposed to be doing, this is the week highlighted with all kinds of links and everything on it. This is updated every single week so that they have quick access to make sure they know what they should be working on. Below that will be the most recent assignments, the assignments that they should be working on currently. And as those assignments are finished, they are put into the folders below. So it will always be this way, the 2 links at the top to our Google Meets and to our weekly schedule. And then you will have below that the assignments that are due for the week. As the students click on them and do them, they will then be, once they are finished, filed away into the appropriate folders. On the right hand side here, we have a calendar that you can utilize. When you're in on that calendar, you can also see what's going on and what's happening for each day. And as these things move, depending on if students are online or if they're at school, they will be moved so that the online students have the online information on the correct days. If you have any questions about this, please let me know. The other link that's going to be added here for temporarily is your parent link to our Zoom meeting. The other thing that I try to do is throw out updates to the students just to make sure they know exactly when we're meeting synchronously. And any other information that may need to be pushed out to them. If you have any questions, please let us know. You can come to our Zoom meeting during our back to school night period and ask any questions you may have, or just click on in and say hi. We'd love to meet you. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully it was very informational. So thank you so much, and hopefully I will see you soon. Thank you.